Hello, Ozarks, and especially Cardinals Nation. What is going on? It's myself, Chris Pinson, your weekend sports anchor here, and of course, the man who runs the show, Dan Lucy, in the chair 5 days a week. Dan, it is officially Thursday morning, but it feels like an incredible weekend day because the Springfield Cardinals just rolled back into town after capturing their second Texas League championship.
Yeah, you could call it Championship Thursday if you want, with no problems at all.
Yeah. All right, Dan, let's talk. I mean, you and I have obviously covered this team the last couple of years together. You've been covering it since this team came into play at Hammons Field in 2005. They finally had their second championship. What a season. I mean, where do you start with how this season ranks among the best for the Springfield Cardinals?
Well, yeah, it's got to be the best season if they have that. You know, they set the record with 88 regular season wins and then just kind of rolled through the playoffs. So you added up, I think, was it 93 now?
93 wins.
Which is incredible if you think about that. Yeah, I remember, so 2005 was the first year. Then they got to the Texas League Championship Series in 2007, and it was like, oh, this is easy. You know, Colby Rasmus was on that team back in 2007, and then they got beat in the championship series, and then it took until 2012 for them to get back. So, and then you're realizing, like, okay, this is kind of special when it happens. And then it's been 13 years since they won last night. So, well done for the Springfield Cardinals. And one of the things that I wanted to talk about with this too, this team's been remade 3 different times. Because the team that came out in April and May is not the team that won it last night.
Yep.
And then in the middle of July, there was a turnover on the roster. And then at the beginning of August, there was another turnover on the roster. And the guys that came up from Peoria just continued to they caught the kind of infectious spirit that the Springfield Cardinals had, never give up. And then the other thing is the bullpen. The pitching has been outstanding all season long, and that's usually been the Achilles heel of minor league baseball, especially in the Cardinals organization for years. It's like they got no bullpen, that's why they're losing. Well, they got a bullpen at Double-A, and it won a championship last night.
Yeah, it did. Finally, it did 13-1 the final. Game 3, win or go home, down there in Illinois. Dan, you were there last night, so go ahead and run us through the highlights of how this one came to be for a Springfield Cardinals' second Texas League title.
All right, yeah, this is Game 3. This is winner take all. And in this game, in the very first inning, Dakota Harris would slap this single to right, and John Gazdar and Noah Mendlinger both come in to score, and that gave Springfield a 2-0 lead. And then Zach Levinson singles to center, and that would score Leonardo Bernal to make it 3-0 Springfield. And then it was 3-1 in the 4th inning when Bernal would single to left, and that would score Mendlinger and Gazdar again. Springfield was up 5-1 on this play, and then it was 6-1 in the 6th inning when Levinson again singles to right, and Bernal scores to make it 7-1. Springfield leads 13-1, and they go on to win this one 13-1. There is PA Patrick Anderson, the manager, getting the championship trophy, and then celebrating with the team as they are down in Texas, winning the Texas League Championship. There's your highlights.
Wow, what a moment. What a moment. And again, for this team, right, for them to be able, as you said, to regenerate themselves, right, or remake themselves 3 times in a year. You and I both talked about this during the season. Our biggest fear was after they won the first half title, how different would they look going into the second half and the championship? Because you and I both know when you have any kind of talent in the minor league system, you fly up pretty quick. We saw that with J.J. Weatherhold. We've seen that with a lot of guys. And I was afraid that by the time we reached September, by the time the playoffs were here, that the big boy Cardinals or even Memphis, the AAA affiliate, would start taking key pieces. But they didn't do it as much as I thought. And, between Pete Hansen, Eshawn Henderson, Bryson Motts. I mean, that trio of left-handers, those guys are pretty talented all season long.
Yeah, and one thing to also keep in mind, Noah Mendlinger was a big piece of this team from the very beginning. Look at some of the guys we talked about in there. Zach Levinson and John Gazdar. Levinston coming up in July. Hit a home run his first at bat in Springfield out from Peoria. And then you've got John Gazdar coming up in August from Peoria. These guys just stepped right in. And then Noah Mendlinger has been with this team a little bit last year, and then all of this year. He finally gets called up to AAA Memphis in the middle of August. Plays up there for a couple of weeks. When they get Chase Davis got hurt, he elected to come back down to Double-A to help Springfield win a championship. So you got to kind of tip your hat to Noah Medlinger there, coming back down just to help Springfield win a championship.
Well, I'll tell you what, it must have been worth the wait because this morning, right about 11 o'clock, both of the Springfield Cardinals buses rolled in to Hammonds Field parking lot. We had fans come out. We had, of course, several employees standing there. There's Eshawn Henderson with the Texas League trophy. All these guys, right? Listen, they were exhausted from playing. It was a 10, 12-hour bus ride. There's Pete Hansen. And for these guys to be able to get off the bus and see the appreciation of the fans, right, that come to see them, the people that care about them. There's Bernal, right? There's a few guys. I mean, these guys were able to have a lot of fun doing just this. And, for us, again, right, Dan, you and I get to do this. We live our passion, right? We're one of the few that do this. And just like them, to be able to follow them all season, to cover them all season, and to see that finally culminate with a championship, I mean, you got to say, it's fun rooting for these guys because they are such fun to root for.
Well, yeah, and they're not the big stars. We had Nolan Arenado come down through here.
Yep, and Nolan Gorman and Donovan.
Right, yeah, you got the big guys coming down in here, and some of them came up through Springfield, so they know the Texas League, they know Hammonds Field. Arenado is not one of those guys. But these are guys that you've been with, you've been talking with, you've been saying hi to them since April, since May, and for them to win. And, boy, the thought that I had on, let's say, what is it, Wednesday night going into the game, Tuesday after their win, to win the championship or to win the franchise record of victories, to be as dominant as you were in the league all year long, and then not to win the championship would just not be right. So for them to be able to come back and win 13-1, it was like cherry on top of the sundae.
Yes, it was. And matter of fact, so after they got off the bus and they celebrated, it was incredible how fast those players got back to their locker room and literally grabbed their stuff and dipped out. I mean, they have all scattered already. They are all on their way back to their homes or wherever they're going to spend the offseason. But did get a chance to talk to a couple guys. One would be Joshua Baez. One would be Bryson Motts, the winning pitcher from last night's game. So here's a snippet of what they had to say this morning, getting off the bus, seeing the fans after their victory in their Texas League clinching championship.
It's amazing. The boys work so hard all year long for this, and just to bring it back to Springfield after 13 years, it's just incredible. And I'm so proud of everybody here.
Yeah, it was awesome. I mean, I didn't really expect anything less from us. We had great energy coming from the night before, and we could just feel like coming to the locker room that day, everyone was at ease. No one was stressing at all, and put 3 on them quick in the first, and it was done from there.
So again, for these guys to be able to play their hearts out, to come back and see the admiration for all their fans, it's pretty awesome. But again, Dan, you and I both know going on the road in any sport is tough. But to do it and have to win both games, to capture the championship that you've played all season, to try to win, I mean, that was a pretty tall task, but you heard them. There really wasn't any worry. They were ready to go. And once Motts got a couple runs, he was like, yeah, the party is over.
Yeah, and thinking about Motts, this guy won Game 2 of the North Division against Tulsa. So he had to sit through a 3.5-hour rain delay and then come back out and start that game. And when he started that game against Tulsa, he got hit around pretty good in the early innings, but he was able to regain control of the game and get the victory there, and then get the big victory last night. And these series are short.
It's just the best 2 out of 3.
It's the best 2 out of 3. And that happened after COVID when they were going to reorganize the minor league baseball system. They decided to shorten these it used to be like best of 5, if I remember correctly. Springfield won in 2012, 4 games to 1, I believe. So these are short series, and you only get 1 game at home in the Texas League in the championship series for the Cardinals. So they had to go all the way to Midland, which is, quite
a long bus ride
out to the Permian Basin to win a championship. So, salute those guys and Bryson Motts. Yeah, and you look forward to what these guys can do in St. Louis in a couple of years.
Yeah, there were a couple of questions about that, and Patrick Anderson, talked about how this ball club is full of big leaguers. I mean, it's got big league arms, it's got big league bats, and he also mentioned that one of the coolest things about this club, because I did ask him, he was a part of the 2019 World Series Nationals team. He's had quite a bit of success in the game, and I said, Coach, I know you've had a lot of great moments, but where does this one rank up there? And he said, look, it's hard to put any championship or any team above one or the other because they're all so different. But here's what tells you exactly how cohesive this team was. Listen to what he says about the team's chemistry, even on the bus rides of these long road games.
Just the personalities and how they went about their business. I mean, it's just, you can't really explain every little personality. You know, like we got guys on the bus playing this mob game and just laugh about it because I have no idea what the heck is going on. But these new age kids have this game and they live for it. And it was just, I sat back and listened and watched them and their personalities, and they gelled together. They really enjoyed, you're sitting there going to Texas League 10 hours and God forbid, like around each other all the time. You would think some guys would be sick of each other. They enjoyed being around each other. So that's really the culmination of who we were, or are. And it was just a team oriented, guys get along and just they fed off each other.
So you heard him. Even on the bus rides, right? There's this mob game they're playing, and they are such like a brotherhood. And what I think is the coolest part, Dan, you and I both know, in the minor league system, it kind of is a dog-eat-dog, right? It's you versus me for maybe the same position at the next level, whether you're a pitcher, a position player, or whatever it is. We're all trying to fulfill our dream, my dream of being a big leaguer. But talking to Baez, talking to Chase Davis, talking to PA, every one of these guys has a team-first mentality. And at this level, where everybody's trying to outdo each other to get that recognition, to get that next step in their line of work, it's a rarity to see guys this dialed in and this tight for a team that, again, is all about you going to the next level.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, it is dog eat dog, and especially when you have players that you kind of like, and then they get DFA'd, just dropped off the team, and then the next day there's another guy wearing that guy's same jersey with the same jersey number, and so that's a tough thing. But to keep everybody going in the right direction, PA's Patrick Anderson's first season as the Springfield Cardinals manager, so that great for there. And then the MVP JJ Weatherholt won the Texas League MVP. He's the fourth straight year that a Springfield Cardinal has won the MVP in the Texas League.
Wow.
So you would think that it should be surfacing at the major league level next spring, next summer. And it's kind of ironic that on the night that the St. Louis Cardinals were eliminated from the playoffs, the Springfield Cardinals won a Texas League championship. So that's got to give Cardinal Nation a little bit of hope.
I hope so. You and I both understand that right now St. Louis, right, the big club, is certainly struggling. They're going through a big rebuild, change in management. We've seen the change with, again, Nolan Arenado probably going to be on his way out of St. Louis as well. So as we both believe, the foundation here at the minor league level is building and trending the way it needs to for maybe what could be a great run these last 5 years of the decade, or maybe in the 2030s. And that's a pretty weird number to say, but that's where we're headed. All right, one last thing. And by the way, big shout out, congratulations to Jason Schwartz. It was his first year as well with the Cardinals here in Springfield. He was the play-by-play guy on the radio. And when we sat down a couple weeks ago with his interview and his one-on-one, he did say that in the 10 plus years he's been doing minor league baseball, that at least 9 out of the 10 years, his team he's called a game for has either won or at least been to the championship. So it happened again, and he's won another title. So I don't know what this guy has in his system, but if you're a club out there looking for an announcer, that guy is down.
Don't look here.
Look somewhere else.
Keep him in Springfield. Lock his apartment door.
Hey, well, Dan, look, before we go, any final thoughts on this season and just overall what it's meant to be able to cover year 21 of Springfield Cardinals?
Well, I think the one thing that the players, and Patrick Anderson talked about this, the players, as we've talked to them all summer long, they love the Springfield fans. They love Hammons Field. They love the atmosphere that's here. So everybody out there in Springfield that's a big Cardinal fan, that's been to games, if it's Lebanon night, Marshfield night, Ava night, you see them all in the bleachers. You see them there. They do a great job. And when you show up in the stands by 3,000, 4,000, 5,000 fans a night, the players see that, and they know that because when they go to the other locations around the Texas League. They don't see the kind of fan base that they have in Springfield. So tip of the cap to the fans as well. You deserve a small slice of this Texas League championship as well.
Yeah, again, it's very cool that the team was able to, again, come out in front of fans and other ushers and workers that we know that we've seen all the time. But yeah, for me, for year 3 here in the Ozarks to kind of have this one turn out finally the way I hoped it would after back-to-back postseason letdowns, this is very cool. So again, it was a great season. We're so happy to be a part of it and play our small role. But who knows? Maybe next year we can defend the crown. But then again, it's a whole long way till April. So in the meantime, that's Dan Lucy. I'm Chris Pinson, and we'll catch you tonight at 9 and 10 o'clock here on Ozarks First.